Pleased to be joined by Bob Kendrick from the Negro Leagues Museum. And let's talk about Rickwood itself first. How special is it, not just as a ballpark, but really as a place in American history?
It's a shrine. It is a baseball cathedral. And of course, so much baseball history has been made at that park, and a lot of it was associated with the Negro Leagues. One team in particular, the Birmingham Black Barons, who started playing there, sharing that stadium with their white professional baseball counterpart, the Birmingham Barons. And it strikes me that in a deeply segregated Birmingham, a Bull Connor segregated Birmingham, the Black Barons were the toast of the town. And they actually outdrew their white professional counterpart in their own ballpark. And so that stadium has so much history. We're talking about a number of Hall of Famers, both black and white and brown, who played in that ballpark. And of course, one particular player, a young guy by the name of Willie Mays, who was 17 years old when he began patrolling center field for the Birmingham Black Barons in 1948. And so you add that dimension along with all the other rich baseball history, you can see why we're so excited about this salute to the Negro Leagues game that's going to take place there on Thursday, June 20th.
Speaking of Willie Mays, big weekend to honor him. Giants coming to where he used to play in Birmingham, like you mentioned. I'm wondering if you have a Willie Mays story that has stuck with you over the years.
Well, there are a number of Willie Mays stories, but one of my favorite, and I heard him tell this story, was the first time that he faced the legendary Satchel Paige. And of course, Willie was 17 years old. And he says the first time he faced Satchel, he got a double off of him. Well, Satchel didn't know who this kid was. He threw him a little off-speed something, and young Willie Mays hit it in the gap, gets a double. Satchel looks over at third baseman and says, "Hey, you let me know when he comes back up." And a couple of innings later, here comes young Willie Mays back up. The third baseman says, "Hey, Satch, there he is." Satchel looks at him and says, "Son, I ain't going to try to trick you. I'm going to throw you three fastballs." And even at 17, Mr. Mays is thinking, "Oh, you ain't going to throw me three fastballs and I know they're coming." And Mr. Mays says he threw three straight right by me. I never saw him. And as I turned to go back to the dugout, Satchel had stepped off the mound, was almost halfway between the mound and home plate. And he says, "Now go sit down, little boy." And here is arguably the greatest, well, without question, the greatest living major leaguer. And in the eyes of so many, the greatest major leaguer of all time, remembering being struck out by Satchel Paige. That tells you how great the legendary Leroy Satchel Paige was.
Oh, I love that story. What has the last year or so been like for you and the Negro Leagues Museum? This game, the integration of Negro League statistics into the Major League record books, seems like more people than ever are aware of the awesome work you guys are doing. Why is that important?
Oh, it is extremely important. And man, we have been riding a tremendous wave of momentum. You touched on some of those milestones, the rolling of the statistics into the record books of Major League Baseball, this game at Rickwood, which will be a seminal moment for Black baseball history, the inclusion of the Negro Leagues in the video game MLB The Show, which is one of the biggest things this museum has ever done because millions of young people and young adults are now learning about the Negro Leagues. But Corey, not only are they learning about the Negro Leagues, they are falling in love with the Negro Leagues. And so we are riding this wave of momentum, and it's at a time that we are preparing to build a brand new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. So I have got to strike while the irons are hot. We got to raise some 25, $30 million, man. And so, but I'm so excited that the world seems to be excited and maybe more interested in Negro Leagues baseball history than ever before.
We could spend hours probably talking about the St. Louis Stars, our town's most
Yes.
known Negro League team. The Cardinals are going to be wearing their uniforms at Rickwood. But from your historic perspective, what are a couple of things that make the Stars specifically notable in baseball history?
They were an outstanding club there in St. Louis. And the Stars morphed from the original St. Louis Giants, who were one of the original 8 Negro League franchises established here in Kansas City when the Negro National League was formed. And then the Stars eventually morphed out of that St. Louis Giants team. And we're talking about significant Hall of Famers that call St. Louis home as it relates to its rich Black baseball history. We start, of course, with none other than legendary James Thomas Cool Papa Bell, still believed to be the fastest man to ever play this game and the greatest nickname in baseball history, bar none. National Baseball Hall of Fame. The great Mule Suttles, who, believe it or not, Corey, swung a 50-ounce bat. Yeah, now his bat card is on file at the Louisville Slugger Museum, and he swung a 50-ounce bat. That is a treat. And yet Mule Suttles had a career batting average over 300. And when he would come to the plate, the fans there in St. Louis would start to yell, "Kick, Mule, kick." They wanted to see him hit that ball out the ballpark. And then one of my favorites, the legendary Willie James Wells. They nicknamed him in Mexico El Diablo, the devil, because he could dig it out of the dirt. And for those who got the chance to see my dear friend, the legendary Ozzie Smith, perform his magic, that was Willie Wells. See, we say Willie Wells was Ozzie Smith before we ever knew who Ozzie Smith was. He was making those same kind of acrobatic plays, and Willie Wells was a power hitting shortstop. So, yes, St. Louis has had some tremendous talent as it relates to Black baseball history that came through there.
One of the really cool storylines, I think, next week is going to revolve around the first Black pitcher in Cardinals history, Bill Greason, one of the last Negro League players still living, preacher in Birmingham for a long time.
Yes.
Hopefully a lot of people are learning about this weekend if they didn't already know about him. Have you been able to meet Bill before? How would you describe his place in baseball history?
Oh, absolutely. And while he only was able to get a cup of coffee, so to speak, in the Cardinals organization, he did make history. And he will be 100 this year. And he's still getting in the pulpit, bringing that fire and brimstone there from the pulpit. He helped nurture and mentor a young Willie Mays. He is a war hero, a Munford Point Marine, Purple Heart recipient. Yeah, no, so he has a significant place, not just from a baseball history perspective, but an American history perspective. And I am thrilled that he is still amongst us, and he is just as spry as ever. And so this is going to be so special. There are going to be a number of Negro League players who are slated to be in attendance at this game. And we don't know when it's going to be the last time they get a chance to get together. And I can tell you this, though, Corey, there's going to be some lying going on come this next week. Oh, man. And you know what? I'm going to be right there in the middle of it, lying right there with him.
Oh, I love that. Last thing, when two major league teams take the field at Rickwood next week wearing Negro Leagues uniforms, honoring all that history that you've really dedicated your life to, what's it going to mean to you personally when you get to see this play out?
Oh, it's going to be a tremendous source of pride. I would venture to guess that it's going to be somewhat emotional, not just for me, but for a lot of those former Negro League vets they love seeing those major leaguers wearing those Negro League uniforms and paying tribute to them, those who had been forgotten for so long. I was in San Francisco here recently, and I have a chance to get in the clubhouse and talk to several, well, really the entire team there. And what I tried to impress upon them was that this was not just one of 162 games that are part of a major league season. It's a long grind in a major league season, but that they had an opportunity to be part of making history. And this is so meaningful, this game that they're taking part in. And I wanted them to understand. And I think the gravity of this moment is something that they're embracing as well. And I hope all of them wear those pants up high, show those socks in tribute to the Negro League. Maybe wear them a little baggy as well to pay true respect to the Negro Leagues. But man, this is going to be such a special occasion. We'll be celebrating here in Kansas City with a watch party that we're playing host to, and the Fox Sports Network will be breaking in live cut-ins to what's going on here at the museum. And so, what a great time for all of us who are stewards of the story of the Negro Leagues.